Hello everybody, in the video today I'm talking about state level income tax and state level property tax in the United States. I'm going to show a list of the top 10 to 15 states that have the most favorable, or I should say least expensive, property tax rate and income tax rate, and then I'm going to look at the bottom that shows the least favorable states for property taxes and income taxes in the country. And this way, if you're thinking of moving to a different state and one of your criteria is a favorable tax structure, you'll have a little bit of an education to see which states are the best. I'm also going to link the full article that I am citing in this video in the description below, so that if your state is not one of them and you want to look and get more detail, you can link directly to the article and get more information. The channel is Living in Northern Arizona, where I post videos every single week about living in the Northern Arizona towns. My name is Dawn Dickinson and I am a realtor in Arizona. If you ever have a question about buying or selling real estate in the state of Arizona, my contact information is always in the description below. So if you give me a call, text, or an email, I will get back to you. So I'm going to start by saying why I'm doing this video. Of course, yesterday everybody had to pay their income tax and we're all crying. I'm still getting over the shock of it. And that is the time where people are thinking about, maybe if I was in a different state, I wouldn't have to pay as much income tax or as much property tax. Now, sometimes the issue comes up where you have a state that is favorable for income tax, say, and unfavorable for property tax. And I'm thinking Texas just right off the bat, right? Texas has no to very low state income tax, but yet very high property tax. So that might be where you are in your life, which is going to be more important. Now, if you are approaching retirement age and you're going to soon have a fixed low income, Texas might not be a good state for you because you have very high property tax. So you may prefer to go into a state that has low property tax, and who cares about the income tax if you're about to retire. And then it's the other way around, possibly if you're young and in the prime of your career making a lot of money, you may be more concerned about the state income tax rate and less about the property tax rate. But here I'm just going to give you a high level overview of both. So there are a couple of websites I'm going to look at on my computer today. One is just like a RocketMortage, that's just a mortgage lender. It's kind of a national lender. They have some information on property taxes. And then another place is usafacts.org, and I did find some also for Forbes website. I'm going to put the links to the articles that I'm going to be referencing in the description below if you ever want to go back and get more details on the data. But I'm going to start with state income tax. Which states have the highest and lowest state income tax? I'm getting this from an article on a website called USA Facts. They have tons of very interesting information if you're looking to move into another state. Now I want to start by saying I live in Arizona. I sell in Arizona. Most of my clients are coming from Oregon, California, and Florida. Now what's odd is people that are moving from Oregon and California are typically doing it because of tax type issues, sometimes political issues, but people are complaining they're being taxed to death. People that are moving from Florida are usually moving for different reasons. It's more like they don't like the humidity or they don't like the bugs. And what's also interesting with Florida is I have people that are moving to and from Florida and Arizona, like jumping in between. And so kind of an even wash musical chairs with Florida going on. But my biggest influx of clients are coming from California and Oregon, often because they don't like how they're being taxed very highly in those two states. So I'm just going to start with that. This chart I'm going to share with you today. Now we're going to start out with the highest state income tax level. Now, interestingly enough, I see New York State is the highest state income tax. These data I think were shown in 2020, so just a couple of years old. The tax rate probably isn't much different today in 2024, but maybe the amount of income is going to change. But we're looking at tax rate today. I see New York has a state tax rate of over 4.7%, which is pretty high. Now, interestingly enough, my family moved from New York in 1970. One of the reasons my father wanted to leave New York is because of the high taxes, amongst from other things, largely political and tax motivated to leave New York City, and the fact that it was just super crowded. So New York having the highest state income tax rate of 4.7%, Maryland next, DC, all these places, Maryland 4.2 state income tax, District of Columbia 3.8. You're seeing Oregon also high in the state income tax, over 3.5%. Massachusetts high, over 3%. Delaware over 3%. Minnesota over 3%. So a lot of the high Northeast states have high income tax. Now I'm seeing California also on the list. What are they? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. California over 3%, 3.02. Now we're going to go down and see where Arizona is. Arizona, I'm scrolling down here. Arizona's closer to the bottom. So if now I go look at the top or the bottom 15 states, looks like there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 states with zero income tax. Now, again, think about that too. You might want to look into those states if you want zero income tax. They may offset that with high property tax. So Washington, Nevada, Texas, South Dakota, Florida, Wyoming, and Alaska, no state income tax. Now, we also have Tennessee, very low, 0.02% state income tax, practically zero there. New Hampshire, low state income tax of 0.13%, but now they're going to also offset with high property tax. North Dakota next, and then Arizona is 1.21% state income tax. So Arizona close to the bottom at 1, 2, 3, 4. About number 11 from the bottom, Arizona. So if that sounds attractive to you and you'd like to move to Arizona, again, I do sell real estate in the northern half of Arizona, and if you want to give me a call, I would love to have a conversation with you. Also, states that are favorable in the income tax area, we've got New Mexico, Mississippi, Louisiana, Oklahoma, Michigan, Rhode Island, and Alabama, Missouri, Colorado, and then the other states are kind of somewhere in between in the middle. So now let's look at property tax. So I'm going to pull up a chart. This one came from RocketMortage. The very lowest property tax state in the country is Hawaii. Now that was a little bit surprising to me because I know Hawaii has a very high cost of living. The effective property tax rate in Hawaii is 0.32%. So much less than a full percentage point. They are showing annual property tax of less than $1,000 a year on most homes, or the medium priced house in Hawaii. So the states now with the least amount of property tax, we're seeing Hawaii, Alabama, Colorado at 0.55%, so about half of a percentage point, Wyoming, Louisiana, South Carolina, West Virginia, Utah, Nevada, again, almost 0.6%, so not even a full percentage point. We've got Delaware, District of Columbia. Now, Arizona comes in at number 12 from the bottom. So the 12 least amount of property taxes are in Arizona at 0.63%. Now, that's interesting because Arizona is about at number 11 at the bottom of state income tax and number 12 from the bottom of state property tax. So Arizona, we do have a huge amount of people migrating into the state right now, and that is largely the reason. You have favorable tax structure, at least at the individual. I'm not looking at corporate taxes today. I'm just looking at individual taxes. And again, federal tax, we all have to pay it no matter where we live, but state income tax, state property tax are somewhat favorable, or pretty favorable in Arizona. After Arizona, you've got Arkansas, Idaho, Tennessee, Minnesota, New Mexico, Montana, California coming in at number 19. So property taxes in California, not even as bad as it might seem. So now if I'm going to go to the highest property taxes, positively the highest is New Jersey. Now New Jersey coming in at 51 because they're counting the District of Columbia. So they have a property tax rate of 2.23%. That's pretty high. Average resident, or homeowner I should say, in New Jersey paying $8,500 a year in property taxes. Now, coming from the bottom, Second to the bottom, Illinois at 2.08%. New Hampshire, number 49, 1.93% effective property tax rate. And then going up, New Hampshire, Vermont, Connecticut. So you've got one, two, three of the top four of the top five being in the Northeast. You also have Texas, pretty high property tax rate at 1.68%, of course offset by the fact that there is no income tax, so Texas is still a very favorable climate, and again, it's going to see what's important to you. Do you have a very expensive home? Maybe Texas is not the place if you're going to retire, but if you have a very high income, it may be offset by there's low state income tax in Texas. Again, very favorable migration in Texas, so that's just something to ponder. You also have Nebraska, Wisconsin, Ohio, Iowa, Pennsylvania in the top bottom. And oddly enough, New York not showing as very high. They're coming in at number 40 at 1.4% property tax. But I remember my dad complaining like crazy about how high the property tax was in New York. So, but compared to Arizona, right, what we say Arizona was less than 1%. It was like 0.63% property tax rate. So that just can give you a little bit information if you're thinking of moving to a different state. My name is Dawn Dickinson. The channel is Living in Northern Arizona. I do post videos every single week about living in the Northern Arizona town. So if you find this type of information helpful, please do me a favor and like the video. Consider subscribing because I post videos every single week about living in Arizona. And I am a realtor in Northern Arizona. Again, I sell in mostly Sedona and Verde Valley, but also Prescott area, Flagstaff area, and sometimes Phoenix. So if you ever have a question about buying or selling real estate, feel free to reach out to me. My text, phone number, email is all in the description below. So I hope to hear from you, and I hope to see you back here on the channel next week.